Hi, hello viewers. Welcome to the VOH broadcast. I'm your host Rahul Agarwal. I'm a director with Quadria Capital, which is a healthcare focused private equity fund. We manage over $2 billion, invest in all healthcare subsectors in India and Southeast Asia. We also have a VC fund by the name of HealthQuad, which is again dedicated to investing in technology enabled healthcare businesses in India. So that's only India focused. We have our esteemed guest today, Mr. Rajesh Patel, who's the Chief Executive Officer at Trivitron Healthcare. So Rajesh has been a veteran in the medical devices industry, has spent time with a lot of medical device firms and latest with Trivitron Healthcare. So Rajesh, if I could request you to make a brief introduction about yourself, and then we'll launch into an interactive session for the benefit of our viewers.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Rahul. Thanks for this opportunity. A small introduction about me is I carry 30 years of experience, all 30 years into healthcare industry. First 15 years of my career was in pharmaceutical industry. I worked for Pfizer, for Nicholas Piramal and Cadila Pharma. And then I entered into the reference diagnostic industry with Quest Diagnostics in USA. I was posted in USA as well. And then I entered into hardcore diagnostics and worked for great companies like Transasia Biomedicals, Agape, Merrill Healthcare, and now Trivitron Healthcare. So this is all put together 15 years into diagnostics and 15 years into pharmaceuticals. Quite a learning experience both into formulations as well as in diagnosis.
Great, Rajesh. That's a you put it very humbly, but that's a very illustrious career in medical devices industry. And good to see you. You know that you've been associated with a lot of homegrown Indian medical device companies, and that's exactly the topic of our discussion today. So, if I can lay the background of the entire broadcast first, and then I launch into a few specific Q&A. We've all seen the evolution of Indian medical devices industry. A few years back, it was literally the MNCs which used to rule the space in almost all medical device areas. But it's been really great to see that over the past few years, Indian medical device industry has come of age and has been very well following in the footsteps of Indian pharma industry, right, which has really made India the pharmacy of the world. And hopefully, we are now on the path of becoming the most one of the most prominent medical device and consumables provider to the entire world. So Trivitron has been a sort of a poster boy in that, right? And a very successful homegrown medical device company. So if you could just start with brief history about Trivitron, uh, what has led to this phenomenal success which Trivitron has achieved? If you could talk a bit about that, and what could aspiring Indian medical device companies learn from Trivitron?
So, Rahul, as in 1997, Trivitron Healthcare started with a vision that they will be bringing the newer medical technologies to the country. As you said, that most of the dependability for healthcare as well as the medical device, medical technology was on MNCs. And most of the time, the Indian healthcare was dependent on the overseas land. So at that time in 1997, where nothing much was possible, so at least Dr. Velu, who is our chairman and managing director, he thought that let Trivitron be part of bringing in the new technologies in medical field to India. And this is how Trivitron was started in 1997. Most of the MNC companies which were not earlier present in India directly have taken root through Trivitron, and today now they are present directly in India. So Trivitron was really instrumental in bringing in many companies in India, rather creating their customer base in India. Slowly, when the capability kept on building in 2008, for the first time, Trivitron entered into manufacture as a manufacturing company. When our dependability on overseas land or maybe on as a distributor kind of company is reduced, and slowly we started manufacturing our own product. We slowly set up our medical device manufacturing facility in India. Then we acquired a company in Finland called Lab Systems. And the name continues now. Lab System is a 100% subsidiary of Trivitron Healthcare Group. Then we have a manufacturing unit in Turkey, and very recently we started even manufacturing unit in China. So India, Finland, Turkey, and China now the wings are spreading, and Trivitron is becoming really a global player, not only in bringing in the medical technology of other large global players to India, but also offering indigenously manufactured product and in India, Finland, Turkey, and China to the globe. Today we have 13 manufacturing facilities, including IVD, medical imaging, critical care, and life support system. And our aim is that today we are present in 180 countries with our own products as well as the products from the other companies. But our aim is that we take our products, the home-brewed products, to more and more countries. We expand more than 180 countries, which we are currently available in, and ensure that the products can be developed in countries like India, Finland, Turkey, and China, and it can reach to at the global platform. I'll tell you some of the technologies like newborn screening. Newborn screening, we are the one amongst the two large players in the world, and Trivitron, under the name of Lab Systems, we are manufacturing the instruments as well as the reagents, that is the kits, the testing kits, and it is reaching globally. I think more than 100 countries, the newborn screening kits are going, and we are proud to say that today more than 8.5 million babies are tested every year by the kits which are manufactured by Trivitron group of companies. So like we today we are not only known like 1997 as a medical technology bringing organization, but we are today manufactured, we are recognized as a medical technology manufacturing organization. Today we are a research and development based company. We have 5 R&D facilities in Chennai, in Visakhapatnam, in Delhi, in Finland, and in Turkey. So we are innovating day by day newer products and giving it to the medical world.
No, great, Rajesh. That has been a really phenomenal growth path which Trivitron has seen over the past few years. If you could touch upon, something which you mentioned towards the end of your, of your dialogue, is how has been this transition, moving up the value chain from being a distributor to now a R&D and manufacturing led company. And as you said, some of the big success story, if you could talk about a couple of success stories. You already mentioned about newborn screening kits, which as you rightly said, Trivitron is one of the probably 2 companies across the world to do this. And there's a lot to be done in that space. India, India makes, I think, the most number of babies globally, so that itself is a big market for you. But also your, homegrown imaging portfolio, which is now, on digital X-rays, digital mammograms, and all. If you could talk about a couple of examples just to make that point around moving up the value chain, because I think that's very critical for success in medical devices space.
Yeah, sure, Rahul. First of all, like Trivitron is a company which is led by a scientist. Dr. Velu himself is a scientist. So when in 1997, when the company was involved more into bringing medical technology, but that hidden scientist in Dr. Velu was always really working hard in really manufacturing and bringing its own product within India. See, today, whatever said and done, 70% of India remains rural India. It is more of villages in India than that of cities in India. And the healthcare requirement is not only required only in the urban cities, but it is more required in the rural areas and also bringing in those costly products or large instruments to the rural area and really dreaming about the high class medical facility was really not possible unless until some scientists like Dr. Velu would have really thought of bringing in some homebrewed product and really taking them to each and every individual. And this is how the thought has come in Dr. Velu's mind that it is enough of bringing, or it is enough of becoming only the distributor for other large multinational companies, but we should have our own R&D and develop the products for needy individuals within the country. And maybe that philosophy has really worked, and we were successful in bringing in slowly the products which are smaller in size, like a semi-auto biochemistry analyzer, entry-level fully auto biochemistry analyzer, then point of care treatment like rapid test for malaria, for dengue, for HIV, HBsAg, which was really a requirement of the rural India. And slowly we reached to the smaller towns, and we became a company which is really required by each and every individual. Like today, any pathology lab, if they think about any new product, I'm more than sure that they must be thinking once at least about Trivitron, that whether the product is available from the Trivitron basket or not. So today we are one of the preferred company, one of the chosen company by the customers. All the 55,000 labs, they remember once us whenever they think of any new product in their laboratory. So this is all about how we migrated from a distributor company to a manufacturing R&D based manufacturing company.
No, great. And I think Trivitron has done a great job in addressing the needs of both hospitals and diagnostic labs. So really covering the entire provider ecosystem in that sense. Uh, Rajesh, one good aspect which you mentioned and which we also see across many Indian medical device firms, and it's very good development to see, is that many companies led by Trivitron have spread their wings globally, right? So they have either R&D or manufacturing setups now globally, and I think you mentioned Trivitron has it in Finland and in China. So
Yep.
I think two of the countries which you mentioned. So what is the primary driver for that? Is it more demand driven, or is it more supply driven in that sense, to build global presence from a supply or a brand perspective to access new technologies, or is it more demand driven, you're chasing demand where it is?
Yeah, so it is, Rahul, two-way sword was there. One was the to really cater the demand also. Our wings were scattered into other countries like Finland, Turkey, China. We are also now aiming to acquire more, like inorganic growth wise, we are ready to acquire few more diagnostic companies in other countries. This is more towards the supply side. And also, as we all of know that the medical technology is more improved or more grown in other countries, and thereby to bring them in a faster pace, we really require to be migrated to these countries, as well as to be associated with those scientists in their land, so that we can acquire either the smaller companies which are available there, so that we bring in those technology, then convert it to our in-house products, by bringing the cost efficiency also to it. Because what happened that today we can bring any product from the globe, but only thing that it should be affordable also to our Indian population. So if we have to really make a product for only classes, then from any country the product can be brought into India or to any country, and the product can be marketed. But then we have to really think about the masses. We have to really think about the economy aspect. We have to always think that the product should be really manufactured at the least possible price, and it should be really made available to the needy individual at the rural area where the per capita income is also very low. And thereby we have spreaded our wings in for bringing the newer technology, and then spreading it globally. So basically, our main hub still remains India only. The Trivitron. Today we have manufacturing unit in Chennai. We have manufacturing unit in Visakhapatnam. We have recently started our manufacturing unit in Patalganga area of Mumbai. Mumbai, we have two manufacturing units, one for our radiology wing and one for our extended manufacturing facility, which will also house some of the products for our IVD. And in AMTZ, during this COVID pandemic for last nearly 1 year, the scientists are working and they are really bringing in newer and newer products, and which has really made the country self-dependent for the products which are developed in India. And that way, I think that Dr. Velu's vision is really working, and we are really making India as a self-sufficient country to bring in any kind of technology and developing that technology within the country.
No, great, Rajesh. So if I can now change track to another topic for discussion, which is how have you seen the transition uh, in the Indian consumer behavior, because maybe let's say 10, 12 years back, it was really the MNCs which used to rule the space on the devices side, on the consumable side. Slowly that has been changing, right? But how have you seen that transition happen over the last 10, 12 years? And what is the current traction you see for made in India products and made in India brands in the medical device and consumable space?
Yeah. You have very rightly said that 10 years back, the thinking of the consumers about the made in India product, and today the thought process of the consumer for made in India product has really traveled a long distance. 10 years back, a product which is manufactured in European countries or in American countries were automatically gaining a lot of importance, that if any product which is manufactured in Europe, in USA, is always of a high quality, and any product which is manufactured in India or in China, where the quality is compromised because of two reasons. Number one, the capability crisis is there. At the same time, to make the product economical, somewhere some quality compromise was done. So that was a myth, but then the myth has housed so strongly that the moment you say USA product versus India product, or anybody will pick up that USA product in on the parameter of quality. But over a period of time, see, because what happened, that the moment we say that I said that 70% of the India remains rural India. Today India has 55,000 medical testing laboratories. The diagnostic laboratories, the number of diagnostic labs are 55,000, and out of 55,000 labs, more than 35,000 labs are situated in rural India. That is the smaller cities like C class, B class, or even in villages. All these laboratories are not capable enough to purchase high-end fully automated analyzer or costly reagent kits, because of two reasons. Number one, their workload is not very high, because fully automated instruments, they require high workload also. Like today, if we think about any chain lab, like if we have to name few, we say SRL, maybe say Dr. Lal and all, their workload is so high that they can house the largest size and fully automated analyzer, because they have the capacity to offer that many number of disease samples to that particular instrument. But if you go to the smaller village, where the each and every clinician is seeing 5 6 patients a day, and then they are, out of that also, they are recommending hardly to one patient some kind of pathology test, and any lab is getting hardly 10 or 15 tests in a day there. Unless until the lab is not equipped with a smaller semi-automated kind of analyzer which can really fulfill their requirement, that these lab cannot run. And if this lab cannot run, many of the Indians will not be able to live happy healthy life, because they will be deprived of many of the diseases testing itself, because some of the diseases testing is possible only in the large laboratories. I'll give you one very good example. India is the second largest population in the globe for diabetes, and there is one particular test which is done for diabetes, is known as HbA1c, which is this particular test is done in an interval of every 3 months, to give an average blood sugar level of the patient for 3 months. So with the reading, the clinician comes to know that in last 3 months time, how the blood sugar has behaved, whether it is within control or not control. Earlier, this test was performed only in the large laboratories. Maybe if we say that if there are 50,000 laboratories or 55,000 laboratories in India, maybe 1,000 laboratories must be doing this test. Once upon a time, the situation was like this. Then the Indian diagnostic companies, they have really taken their foot forward. Their R&D, research and development, have really worked hard. They developed smaller POCT kind of analyzers, and today, even if the workload is just one sample a day, the laboratories can perform HbA1c in their laboratory without waiting. And what exactly happens, if any particular test is given to the reference lab, they have to wait for next 24 to 48 hours for report to get released, and thereby the treatment is getting delayed. So the precious man working days are getting wasted, because the treatment is not getting started, the patient is getting fit little delayed and all. So with this kind of improvements, the the cost of working day is really recognized by the pathology labs as well as clinician. They also want, now in our laboratory medicine, the terminology is very common as turnaround time. The moment any new lab is open, and if they go and promote their laboratory to any clinician, the clinician will first ask what is the turnaround time of your laboratory. Means if I send sample today, when you will be able to give
Yeah.
the reply, the report. And therefore making the laboratory testing reach to smaller villages or smaller towns was absolutely necessary. And this is how the trend of MNCs have slowly gone down, and the trend of Indian company or the indigenized products have come up, because India has developed smaller analyzers which are more befitting to the Indian lab requirement, and their corresponding reagent kits also. And thereby today most of the labs are at least capable enough of doing their routine required testing, disease testing, and they are not really dependent on the large reference labs. And this is the reason you would have seen that in last 10 years time, the central labs which were located either in Bombay and Delhi, Calcutta and Chennai, now they have started also moving towards the smaller cities, calling their satellite labs. Like 10 years back, maybe a chain lab will be having only 2 or 3 labs in the entire country. Now we
Yeah.
have chain labs, they have more than 100 labs, because this local competition has made them to run towards those rural India also. Because from there, bringing sample to the urban India or to the large metro cities was not possible, because the lab situated there are developed enough. So to grow, they have to now go move towards those smaller places to bring in the samples for their growth plan and all. So this clearly says that the Indian manufacturers or Indian diagnostic companies, they have really worked very hard in last 1 to 2 decades, and today they have made a remarkable success. Today India is self-sufficient. Today I will say that except for few very small villages, the rural India is capable enough to carry out the routine diagnostic testing.
No, great, Rajesh. You made a great point, and it is companies like Trivitron who are making this access to affordable healthcare, better and better by every day. Maybe just a minute on policy support. There's a lot talked about, schemes like Ayushman Bharat, and a lot of good work which the central and the state ministries and agencies like NHA are doing. So is that also sort of providing tailwinds to the Indian medical device industry? And what else you think could be done?
No, I will say that lot of efforts are done by government in recognizing the Indian manufacturers, especially in this Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme and all. Like say AMTZ is one very good example, where the Indian manufacturers were given the spaces and really a medical technology park, then the tax holidays, many kind of production linked incentive schemes are there, which are the good initiatives by government of India, and it should keep on continuing. Maybe I will say that if any company has put up any new plant or invested in R&D, these incentives should not be stopped in 1 or 2 years. They should really continue to give this incentive for at least 4 to 5 years time, so that the inventor or the company who is really coming forward is fairly motivated. So, and because what exactly happens that now it is not the question of whether one company can set up a plant in a small place like Visakhapatnam or not. The first challenge for any R&D based company or manufacturing based company happens is to bring in the skilled labor, because at
Yeah.
smaller places bringing the skilled labor is very difficult. Today if we have to find MSc biotechnology in Bombay, it is very easy. You conduct for one walk-in interview and thousands of candidates will be there, and you can have a better choice. But then the same thing we have to choose in a small village or small township in like Kolhapur in Madhya Pradesh, in Maharashtra, it would be very difficult, because we have to bring in those skilled individuals to the smaller places. So such kind of motivation will really training and motivation will keep these skilled people involved. So government should really bring in more of incentivizing scheme to these companies like Trivitron, who are really setting up a newer manufacturing as well as R&D facilities in rural India. So far I will say that the existing policies are good enough. Company should the government policy should have can have one more step forward, is they should really keep the price fall they have to really cap. What exactly happens that the moment one particular product is invented, the reverse engineering happens, and the other companies they call it so-called R&D, but they do nothing. They simply open it, they learn it, then they once again pack it, and they start manufacturing look-alike kind of product, and then
Yeah.
they start selling those products at much economical cost by bringing in their quality also down, and they do not have any expenditure towards the R&D. So such kind of price fall should be capped by the government, and they should really incentivize those companies who have really invented this product. Kind of a patent kind of advantage should be given to the Indian manufacturer or Indian R&D driven company.
No, certainly. Now, Rajesh, over to the most favorite topic of the year, which of course presented challenges for everyone and really brought the healthcare industry to the forefront and made everyone realize. I'm not saying that people didn't realize the importance of healthcare industry earlier, but this really sort of defined sort of the year. So how has Trivitron dealt with COVID? If you could speak about it, and what were the initiatives Trivitron was able to take to help the entire healthcare ecosystem deal with such a large pandemic and deadly pandemic like COVID?
I'll once again say that it was all the vision of Dr. Velu which has driven the organization during this pandemic also. Before 22nd of March, when the pandemic was really declared, we all Trivitronians were knowing only the spelling of COVID. But then the R&D team under the leadership of Dr. Velu was really working very hard. And today I'm proud to say that 1 out of the 7 COVID test is happening on Trivitron manufactured kit. Whatever
Wow,
platform
that's a
we
large number. That's a large number, yeah.
we are one amongst the top suppliers to the central government as well as various state governments. Today we have the largest menu, right from viral transport media, right from RNA extraction kit on manual as well as on automated platform. We have RT-PCR on 2 gene and 3 gene platform. Then we have antibody testing on ELISA as well as chemiluminescence platform. We have antigen testing on chemiluminescence as well as on rapid platform. So a large menu is available. Whatever kind of technology a lab wants to adopt, we have a befitting product to offer to. Because all these products are manufactured in India, price wise it is giving really a tough competition to all the MNCs. Because initially when the COVID testing started, there were only 2 or 3 MNCs which were really made themselves present with their internationally manufactured kits in India. But now for every kit we have a Indian made solution, and most of the labs they are preferring Indian made solution. Because what happened that during this pandemic the logistic was not possible, the flights were not running. Even if somebody wanted to use a USA manufactured kit or European manufactured kit, but then those kits were not, it was not so easy to bring in those kits to India because of the cost also. And also the moment Indian companies like Trivitron has started developing this solution, the customers have given, the consumers have given a warm welcome. They started accepting our kit, and a very good guidelines were there that the kit on certain standards were required to be first approved by ICMR, so Indian Council of Medical Research, and all our kits are approved by ICMR. And once the kit is approved by ICMR, the laboratories were taking all the ICMR approved kits at the similar platform. We offered high quality kits with reasonable price also, and therefore like we help the Indian laboratories to perform this test at the reasonable price for the needy individuals. And I'm proud to say that today we are one of the large contributor in COVID testing.
No, great. And I think, this also proves that the Indian medical device and consumables industry, it could deal with such an unknown entity like COVID pandemic within a very, very short span of time, right? And help the government agencies deal with it very, very effectively. So I think it's a great success story. So, up to the last topic, and which is a derivative of the COVID topic, is what fundamental mind the and that's which in your view it's going to stay. It's going to be long-term changes, both either on the demand or supply or both sides.
Yeah, I think it will stay because whatever, number one, the COVID is not going to be over in next 1 or 2 months. COVID will be there in, like, say,
That's bad
malaria.
news, huh? That's bad
malaria.
news.
No, I will say that it will not be a deadly COVID, but the presence of COVID will be there. Like, say, 25 years back, tuberculosis was a deadly disease. Once the person is suffering with tuberculosis, like the family members were really worried and all. So, like today, we are worried when if a COVID positive family member is there, we are worried. But over a period of time, this worry will go off. Like today, if
Hmm.
like it will be one of the influenza, like one of the viral infection, it will come and it will go.
Yeah.
Already the lot of advancement have happened. The vaccines have started getting developed, and it in soon in 1 or 2 weeks time it will start coming. Also, people will start getting vaccinated, but it will remain as one of the. It will not be pandemic, but it will remain one of the infection. It has really given a good message to the Indian consumers that yes, Indian companies can also develop high quality products. It has given confidence to companies like us that it is not that we have to every time depend on the overseas land and then only we can develop the product. Once it becomes a dire need, once it becomes a do and die situation, we can really develop the product in house also. And India is a country which has a lot of capabilities. I'm telling you today, 1 out of 7 tests is done by Trivitron manufactured kit, and we are working just in one shift. Even if we start working in 3 shifts, our capacity is that we can really produce 3 times than what we are producing today. So it means capability wise, the overall intellectual availability wise in India, we are rich enough. Rather, I will say that we are richer than many other countries available on this global map. And soon, this COVID was one very good example. Soon, Indian developed medical technology will be booming in the global market. And that is what is our vision also. That is what is the vision of Dr. Velu also. And we will ensure that we work very hard and make his vision come true.
No, great. And we all also sincerely wish that that happens, and we see the Indian medical device industry making it probably larger than what the Indian pharma industry has made globally. And we don't see any reason why that shouldn't happen over the years. And we wish you great success and luck, both personally and from an organization standpoint, that you achieve greater success in future. So this brings us to the end of today's broadcast. Thank you, Rajesh. Thanks a lot for doing this candid chat with us and giving your frank views on all these topics, some of which are slightly controversial sometimes in nature. So thanks a lot. Wish you a very happy new year, and wish a very happy new year to all the listeners as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul, and thanks to Voice of Healthcare. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks to Voice of Healthcare for organizing this. Thank you. Bye.